and grab some comments so we know this is working. My name's Larry, as you know. We got Joseph here, and we're ready to rock. How are you feeling, Joe?
I feel great. Well, I mean, we'll talk about why I don't feel amazing
Okay.
um, in light of recent news with the lightning. But no, I'm excited to start the podcast and discuss the weekly EV news. I'm hyped.
Yeah, man. This is I think we're gonna try to do this every Sunday. So anyone who hops in, you can look forward to joining us. And yeah, we're just gonna kind of go over we're obviously skewed more towards like EV truck news and Lightning, Rivian, Silverado kind of stuff. That's just kind of been our bread and butter for a while. But we're not going to be just that, right? I think we're going to try to get just any hot new EV news. I know there's 1,000 YouTube creators doing the same thing, but hey, I think we're going to do it just this much better, just that much better, that much better. Awesome. I think I see some eyeballs coming in now, so I know we are live. This is great.
Yeah, this is exciting. So what was the first thing that you wanted to talk about this week, Larry?
Yeah. So what I was thinking, we just hit it with the most thing that. So here's how I'm gauging this: is I've been getting tons and tons of emails from just like viewers of the channel and stuff about the people who've been able to order their Ford F-150 Lightning. So people who pushed their reservation and were able to order, and they were able to share with me what it was like to do that order. So they were able to say, exactly what went on there. And oops, wrong button. I was just trying to turn the chat off because no one's talking, but they were able to like explain everything. So I have everything you need to know about it, and I wanted to share that with you. We've seen some articles, but we can kind of just dig into that. Does that sound good? Like a good way to start?
Yeah, and I think it'll be really refreshing to hear from the horse's mouth exactly how this process is working out, since you and I haven't placed our orders yet.
Right. We're just kind of sitting in the background, and I'm literally just sharing other people's stories here. So, but that's what we're going to do. So I might as well start with just a couple bullet points. The main thing is, and you see it on the headline now, I'm calling it a delay. First of all, do you think I'm being over dramatic if I call the Pro being delayed?
You know, I'm emotionally invested in the Pro trim.
Yeah.
And so when you shared with me the news that, let's just say, they're not going to be producing them in mass for a while, I'll let you break the news. But I I felt so conflicted about it. I'll let you give the rundown on the facts, and then I'll give my reaction.
All right, let me just hit the high level bullet points. So first of all, I already said it. If you've already pushed your order, you've been probably called to make an order for a 2023 model. And what happened was there is a private offer, and we've confirmed with articles as well as actual users that they are getting a $7,000 to $8,500 rebate, and that is. I just lost a mic stand here. Bear with me.
Oh my God.
Yeah, first stream. Give me a break. Anyways, they're getting the rebate, but the only problem is it's all at the dealer's what's the word? It's like exactly. So if the dealer didn't check his memos from headquarters or their Ford manager, they might not know about this. So it is 100% in the dealer's ballpark. So you need to notify your dealer about this. If you had a reservation and you are now able to make your order and they haven't brought up this rebate to you, you are entitled to it. So make sure you let them know. That's the first big piece of information. So do you have anything on that before I move on?
Well, I think one tally for good guy Ford, that it sounds like they're giving you a rebate for almost the exact amount that the price increased for the 2023 model year. So in that way, I think they've, if I was one of those people that extended from 22 to 23, that would be a feather in Ford's cap. I think they're handling that the right way, as long as the dealers follow through with the rebate.
Right. And I'm glad it's not, because the old news was just a private offer. We didn't know if it was going to be the full amount or what it was going to be. So we do have confirmation it will be, like you said, the old number, which is great. And, we're getting the news out here. So as long as people are armed with that knowledge when they go into the dealer, then it's great for them. I'm very happy they're at least honoring it for someone, right?
Yeah, and the private offer thing, it was so vague. I was like, "Oh, I see a lot of
Right.
room um, for dealers to try to pull one over on their customers." Like,
Sure.
private offer could mean anything from free tire rotations for life, like
I was just spit
so.
my water out. That's so funny.
so so I'm glad to see that it's a monetary rebate that will bring the cost back down. So yeah,
What
I
if it
think
was
that's
free oil
good.
changes?
Right, free, yeah, that's free oil changes. That's funny.
For life, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the big heat of this, like the actual news here, is the people who've gone. Oh wait, sorry. One more thing on the rebate is actually, according to at least one person who has emailed me, they have sourced that you can only use the rebate on the trim you pushed for. And here's why that's a little controversial. The Pro, for instance, is advertised not to be available until, get this, fall of 2023. So almost a whole year from now. Or sorry, not a whole year from now, but a while from now.
It might as well be.
It
Yeah,
might as well be. Yeah,
that's
sorry.
that's the dagger for me.
Yeah,
Because remember on our last quick little stream that we did on Wednesday or Thursday, um, I asked you, I said, would you rather see the price increase but know that you're going to take delivery within within 6 months, or would you rather leave the price the same and not know when you'll take delivery? And this is exactly why I asked that question, because I was hoping it would at least be one or the other. But now you're saying not only has the price gone up, but you're not going to take delivery for over a year.
yeah.
So I was trying to grasp at a positive straw, and there's no positives to be taken here.
Unfortunately, if you're at least in the market for a Pro, you're gonna have to wait. And as I said, you can't switch. It seems like now this is unconfirmed fully, but at least like I said, from one person who's emailed me, they were like, man, maybe I'll just go up to the XLT or the Lariat because it'll be in sooner. But because they reserved at the Pro level, they're going to have to wait for the Pro or suck it up and not get their 7K like the rest of us who are not getting that, which, it's hard to feel too bad for them. But at the same time, they were hopefully a very early reservation holder and they kind of deserved it. So, yeah, that's my gauge of this. I mean, is it shocking? Probably not really, but that's a long wait, I think.
Oh, I completely agree. As someone who's waiting for a Pro, it was devastating to hear that it's see, and I thought when they bumped up the cost of the Pro, it was because people were saying they were losing money on every Pro that they sold because of how
Right,
affordable
right.
it was. And I thought, well, okay, they bumped up the price, so now they're probably not losing money on every single one that they sell. So maybe they'll be more eager to produce and deliver these trucks. And apparently that's not the case, which is a bummer for sure.
That or
But
they're just waiting and then they will be making money in 2023 fall. So,
yeah,
but you're
I
right.
to touch on the you're not allowed to switch trims topic, I would be surprised if there were a lot of Pro buyers that wanted to bump up to a more expensive version, especially in light of I mean, I guess you could get like an XLT, if you wanted the Pro, but then you go, I don't want to wait that long, so I'll do an XLT at
Yeah.
the 2022 price. I'd be surprised if there were a lot of people clamoring to switch trims, but that's just my take.
Yeah, I'm interesting. Like, I love when people email me about this stuff because they always kind of like weigh, like, I was torn between this and this. I went with this, and it's kind of cool to see what like people are going through. So, in the comments now, if you guys actually made a order and pushed your reservation, got to make an order already, I'd love to hear your feedback and if it lines up closely with everything we said, or if you had a new experience, we'd love to hear about that too. But other than that, are we ready to move on to talk Silverado for a second? And then we'll promise we'll go back to Lightning because that's basically all we
No,
talk about. But
I've been Team Silverado for the last 48 hours because I'm like, I'm
okay.
not getting my Pro Lightning anytime soon. I might as well look forward to my day one reservation for the Silverado.
Okay. Well, then let's go ahead here. I'll switch our logo out. So now everybody knows we're talking about new interior photos that were leaked as of late last night. And this kind of got me excited because we've only seen like the pristine, cool, hundred and some $1,000 Silverado that, let's be for real, I'm not going to buy anytime soon. And
Mm-mm.
I don't know if you are either. So it's like cool to look at, but you're like, well, what am I going to be able to get? So
Right.
as of, let me put this on the screen. As of last night, GM Authority leaked. They said leaked, but whatever. Leaked sounds cooler, right? I think if we
Yeah.
say we have leaked images.
Yeah. This is an exclusive on
Yeah,
All Charged Up.
exclusive. Golden. So I'm starting with the worst picture to kind of build a little suspense here. Let's move to actually real image. I'm gonna have to go backwards, aren't I? Oops. Okay, so this is it looks janky, right? They're doing tests. This is very much a pre-production model, but we also have a render of it too. And whether you like it or not, this is going to be what the bare bones truck is going to look like. Obviously, it's subject to some changes. This is as pre-production as it gets, but you can get an idea of the two screens. And the biggest thing I've noticed is how big that dash screen is. That's a pretty I don't know. Obviously, the Ford Lightning's is 12-inch. This one's large too. What do you think about it so far?
You know, I like to be optimistic and positive, good vibes.
Yeah.
Not a lot of positives I can pull from this image.
Interesting. Okay.
Here's my hot take is that it looks like they took two iPads and rested them perfectly on
Sure.
the dashboard and then went over a speed bump and they both like went cattywampus. Like
Wow.
the fact that
Brutal.
the fact that they're at different angles really is an interesting design choice. I know they're trying to tilt that center screen towards the driver.
Yeah.
It's a new design choice that I'm not quite used to. Here's my other big gripe. It's hard to tell how big that center screen is, but
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
huge bezels around it really make it look kind of retro and not it doesn't look cutting edge to me like
Yeah.
that the big bezel. I hate to be exclusively negative, but and I'm not a huge fan of how it juts out of the dashboard. That's another choice that I haven't warmed up to quite yet. But
Sure.
what do you think?
Yeah, no, excellent points, and I don't disagree at all. But I keep telling myself, well, if this is really in their $40,000 version of it, I'm all about it. I have no complaints. If this is really going to be a $40,000 truck when there is no other $40,000 trucks available, Ford has graced themselves out of the 40,000 electric truck.
Mhm.
Silverado, they wedged themselves in. They're going to have to do it for a year. And since we're early orders, early reservation holders, we have a chance of actually getting this. And,
Isn't that refreshing?
Yeah, just having the chance is refreshing, right? As to the tilted thing, I hope that the case is this is just a oddly taken photo where at the very least the one in front of the driver is centered and then the center infotainment is tilted and it just looks as if they're both tilted from this angle. But I will admit it does look like they're both tilted like a V, which is silly. It's not great.
Yeah, the one behind the steering wheel you would have to think is perfectly parallel to the
Yeah,
driver's
you have to do
eye
one of
line.
these things, yeah.
Yeah.
But it sticks out and it's giving you, and maybe it sticks out too much, but it prevents the need for like a heads up display maybe. And it kind of reminds me, I don't know why, because it looks nothing like it, but it looks like a stripped down Rivian. I think I told you that the other day. That's kind of the
Yeah.
vibes that I think they're going for.
Yeah.
But all said and done, it's not that bad. And now I'm going to go to the actual render of it, which looks a lot better. And this, in fact, does this change your mind?
Well, yeah, is this a render of the work trim or the RST?
No, this is the work trim. I'll show you the RST in a second.
Mm.
So this is, this might be in between like the LT or the, I think it's called the LT is the middle one. But I think this is going to be the work truck as well. So it might just be a difference of like a leather steering wheel or something like the Pro to the XLT. But yeah, I think this is what we, if we look back, like look at this and then let me go back real quick. So
Well,
you
on
can
the
kind of see it in real life come together. Like, oh, this is this
yeah.
thing.
On the website, like the link that you sent me with these pictures, they do a good job of putting them side by side, like this photo and then the real photo.
Yeah.
And yeah, a few things jump out at me. The last one, and again, not trying to be exclusively negative, but the materials that they're using in the render, it looks a lot cleaner, more like piano black, gloss black.
Sure.
and then you flip to the actual photo,
Yeah.
and it looks real like textured, plasticky,
Yeah.
almost. It looks like that plastic that's going to weather in the sunlight over the
Yeah.
years.
It looks like it's a Pontiac material. Pontiac.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess seeing the render that you've put up, that is something I'd be proud to drive. This other image, like the actual image, let's just say I hope they put a lot of finishing touches into this before they start delivering. But to circle back to something you had said, do you think they will sell one of these trucks for $40,000?
Hard to say. I think they could put up some sob story about materials going up and they just can't do it anymore. But unfortunately for them, I think they kind of already promised the starting price. And, they will probably do what Ford does and only make like 500 of them. But here's another thing to consider is that this will come out I don't think we're able to even get this till 2024, or it'll be a 2024. Is it? Sorry. The RST is coming in 2023, but it's a 2024 year. So you'll get it around
Hmm.
like this time next year. And
Hmm.
then this one, we won't see it until a year after that. So by
Wow.
then, hopefully the vehicle market's leveled off and they can just do a $40,000 truck. So yeah, I think they might actually be able to do it unless it just becomes a battle for cobalt.
Yeah.
We just can't get it. So who knows? And nickel and all the glorious
Well,
that makes our cars go fast.
I think there's even some unknowns with the work trim of the Silverado that even if they do bump up the price by $5,000 or $7,000, to take a page out of Ford's book,
Right.
I mean they're saying that it's going to go like 400 miles or something. But then my question is that with an upgraded battery pack, or is that like is every Silverado EV just going to have 400 miles of range? They haven't, to my knowledge, really advertised that. They just, if you go to the Silverado EV website, it just says 400 miles. And so even if they do bump up the price, I think the Silverado is still a more compelling purchase depending on the range that they're offering.
Right. And by 2024 or 25, when we're finally driving these, it should be in that range because that's what the competition will meet us with, whether it's the new electric,
Hmm.
Toyotas that are on the corner or
Hmm.
the upgraded Lightning. So hopefully it stays around there. They haven't said anything about that spec sheet yet. We haven't seen the trims lined up. And that's kind of why I'm excited about the Silverado more, because we get to go back and do all the fun stuff we did with the Lightning. Like, remember, we got to make like a whole breakdown video just when like the leaked pricing was released and stuff. So all that stuff we get to look forward to soon for the Silverado and compare them now. Cause it was, I don't know about you, when you were making your first Lightning videos and you had to compare it to something, you'd either do it to the Ice or the Rivian. And no matter what you do, there's like 10 people in your comments bitching at you because it's like, you can't complain. It's not a full size versus a regular size. And it's like, well, there's
Right.
nothing else to compare it to.
Right.
But now there will be, which is cool.
Yeah, it'll be nice to finally have an apples to apples comparison
Mhm.
as this finally comes to market. But really, that the timeline that you just touched on for the Silverado is the only thing that has prevented me from canceling my Lightning reservation.
Yeah.
Hot take, breaking news. I seriously considered it this week after just
Okay.
the onslaught of bad news regarding the Pro Trim,
Yeah.
between the price increase and the delay. But even if, like, let's say a year from now, I'm finally placing an order for a Pro Lightning, that's still a year sooner than Silverado. So
Sure.
even though it seems like an eternity, it's still the closest I think we will be to an affordable electric pickup,
Mhm.
uh, in that less than 50,000 price range.
Yeah, nothing's guaranteed on the Silverado. So to your point, like, I can't stress enough, unless you really need the money for whatever reason, nobody should be getting rid of the reservation. Like, I don't know who it was now. It's escaping me, but like the stories of like dealerships contacting reservation holders to like buy their reservation from them to sell to another customer of theirs, like that kind of stuff might happen. Like, even though like nothing's happening with our reservation, they hold value in a lot of ways because these are hard to come by
Hmm.
vehicles that we will have a chance of purchasing. and
Yeah.
and that reservation that we're kind of complaining about is
Hmm.
coveted right now by a
It
lot of
is. Well, and I had a crazy thought yesterday where I thought, like, just again, emotional reaction. I was like, maybe I
Sure.
could
Lots
sell
of
my
that.
reservation. Yeah. I was like, maybe I
Maybe.
could sell my reservation, which, as we've already touched on, is not a thing. But I
Could be.
mean, you really could. And I'm not trying to give anybody any ideas, but you go on Craigslist, you say, Ford Lightning reservation, $5,000, and then you just order the truck that they want, and then
Mhm.
you give it to them afterwards, and they didn't
Right.
have to wait in line. I'm not saying anyone should do that, but
And be
it's just
careful if
so
you do. There's got to be red tape around
yeah,
doing something like that. But if you
yeah,
know what you're doing, um, like I was saying too, there was dealers facilitating that. So
yeah.
it's not insane to have this conversation. And at least you get
Well,
something out of the turmoil we've had of like waiting and all the ups and downs. So don't sell
right.
your reservation, or don't at least give
Mm-mm.
it back to Ford anyway.
Right. Oh darn, I had a really good point. I was
Hey,
talking
while you
about
think of
selling
that, I
my
just want
yeah.
to put a cap on this Silverado
Mm-hmm.
discussion just to show you this is the high end screenshot. I know it
Mm-hmm.
looks crazy because you can see half of my face over here. We're using new software that we're kind of figuring out, so bear with us. But I don't know. This I almost don't know if I like it that much better than the work truck one. Like I don't know if I like the whole one screen thing that like the Lyric and the GM have been doing, or all the other GM vehicles have been doing. I don't hate it at all, but it's nothing I would upgrade for.
So I guess my question is it truly one screen or is it two screens behind one glass surface to make it look like it's because the fact that they're different heights like makes
Right.
me think that it's I don't know, it's just weird. But you're right. I'm not a huge fan of the one giant screen either personally, but I think it goes without saying like you and I have been falling in love with the Ford design ever since we reserved it. We've been convincing ourselves it's the best thing to happen since sliced bread. And so anything that isn't that, like it's going to take some getting used to for sure.
So real quick, I'm gonna pull up the Lyric just so you know where I'm coming from. Have you had time looking at that?
Not as much, no.
Okay, so they do it as one screen. As you can see here, it's one solid. They're saying the biggest. Oh yeah, right here, 33-inch diagonal, the biggest screen on any vehicle ever. But it's just one giant screen. And since they're
Yeah.
both in the GM family, I considered that. Well, maybe that's what they were doing on the.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know for sure, but I
Well,
don't think
and
it's whatever. Like to me, it's just like too many screens. Like um, I had that Toyota Venza for a while, and it
yeah.
had um, a heads-up display,
Mhm.
a like 8-inch dash. It had a 14-inch screen, and then it had a digital rearview mirror. So as you're driving, you got 4 screens that you're just
Yeah.
like you need to focus on the road and maybe turn some of these screens off sometimes. And I'm like heavy into tech and I love that stuff. But even I was
Yeah.
like, I got to at least turn the heads up or something off because this is a lot.
Right. A heads-up display and a digital instrument cluster seems a little redundant to me. That being said, I've always wanted a heads-up display in every vehicle that I've owned, and still haven't found a way to get one. But
Yeah.
um, let's see. I'm just peeking at the chat to make sure we're not missing any
Totally.
thought-provoking questions here. I looked at Mach-E's. Someone in the chat mentioned the Mustang Mach-E, and again, in my emotional fits of rage this week. That was one of the things. I'm like, it's still a Ford. It's still electric. Let me peek at those, but
Yeah.
um,
And you just said no,
I
or what was
well,
the deal
I
breaker there?
think it was the pricing. Like just right
Mhm.
now, a lot of vehicles are still overpriced, and
Yeah.
that's kind of what steered me away from it. And I mean, they're still pricey, and it's all the base trims, and like still
Mhm.
out of my price range. So
And you look at that and you say the amount of car you get spending that on a Mach-E, which is a great vehicle. Like I've drove it 2 now and I've had fun every time. But like you're spending like a guaranteed probably 47 to 55. And since you can get a Lightning for basically the same price, it kind of seems like if having more real estate in your vehicle is something you're looking for, then it's kind of a
right,
no-brainer to just wait for a Lightning.
yep. I'm gonna do my best to wait until fall of 2023.
Yeah. So if we step down for a second, you're happy with the vehicle you have now, right? You said you have a Charger and it's
I do
fun
have
and
a Charger.
you have
It's
no need for the truck yet.
mm-mm.
You're a little impatient.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
I
that's the
mean, you're not
perfect
alone. I don't mean
description.
that as a bad thing at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my Charger is working fine. It was to the point though when I reserved the Lightning, I had like 4 years left on my financing for the Charger, and I was like, well, this is
Okay.
premature, but like I'll trade it in and whatever. And now it's like it might line up perfectly with me finishing paying off my Charger.
Well, there you go.
Um,
You got a big old fat down payment then when you sell the Charger.
yeah, hopefully. Or they'll bump up the prices again. I don't How often are they allowed to do that? Like between now and
Whatever
next
they want.
year? Yeah, exactly. That's the
So
bummer.
the only thing that makes it like controversial is the fact that there's reservations. So, you look at any vehicle, it goes up by a couple thousand every year. It just happens, or they just switch up trims and all of that stuff happens all the time. So the fact that it went up is like far from unheard of. I mean, especially looking at Tesla, they've gone up like 7 grand every 6 months, basically. So the
Right.
fact that it went up again means is just totally normal and expected. But the fact that it's like bad is the fact that we all got a reservation thinking that it's, a lot less than that. And,
Right.
there's so many people pissed. Like mad. Like you should see like some comments that like there's a filter on YouTube if you're not familiar. It's like the hidden comments because there's like a filter and you have to like
Yeah.
manually approve them. And
Mhm.
people are saying some terrible things, even about me just for not being mad at Ford, which is crazy because if I go one direction, people say, "Why am I so mad at Ford?" If I go the other one, they say, "You're not being mad enough."
Yeah,
Whatever.
what a sellout, Larry.
I
What a
know.
disappointment you are.
But yeah, people are mad and you have a right to be mad, but like they keep saying it's like a bait and switch, and I get that. Like it feels that way. But the only reason I think that you'll never have like some people said they're suing for it. It's like, come on, man. Good luck.
Right.
The fact that it's refundable means like there's nothing you can do. Like
Right.
they'll
Well,
say, here's $100. Bye.
and somebody posted on one of my videos this week because I went on a small rant about it, and he was like, "It's been in the fine print since the moment you reserved. Like they reserved the right to change the pricing and the truck. Which is frustrating, but I mean they covered their bases. They've had that on the website ever since they announced the Lightning. So,
Yep.
um, someone in the chat said, "Do you have any info on the Ram electric truck?" And
Mm,
the only reason I call this out, Larry, is because again, when I found out the Pro wasn't gonna come down the pipe anytime soon, I was like, let me check in on that Ram. Let me see, like have they've only released a couple renders, they've
right.
teased it. Reservations are not open, right?
No, no.
Okay. But so I went to their website and I was like, sign up for the email reminders or whatever, because I don't
Mhm.
want to miss it when they do announce it. But also, Ram trucks are very nice and
Yeah.
very expensive. That's what I know about Ram
I
trucks.
don't think they're that bad. Really, when you're cross shopping vehicles, um I don't think they're that bad. Like on average, you get I think it's fair. Like maybe a little more. The Ram Revolution, I bet you they're just watching all this play out. They're sitting back. They're letting Ford and Dodge duke it out, or sorry, Ford and Chevy duke it out, and they are going to come in with probably an $80,000 EV that's going to be
Hmm.
like I just know it's not going to be cheap. Like to your point,
Right.
but I bet it'll be a good value overall. Like I think they'll do it
Interesting.
right. I love what Dodge, Jeep, all of them are doing with the EVs over there. You mentioned the Gladiator that you're
Well,
excited to see an electric one of those coming in.
even even if it's a 4xe, because like the Wrangler 4xe, which I know you've looked into,
Yeah,
only gets what, like 25 miles of electric only range.
I think it's about that. Yeah,
So if you're into like full EVs, then that's not a great option for you. But I looked into it and I know that they're gonna do a 4xe Gladiator. I found one
Okay.
website that said it's going to get announced in like 2024 or something.
Mm.
So that's not anytime soon either. But
And then that's just the announcement. Then they do a year of
right,
hype and then a year of
right.
release, which, yeah.
But I'll be first in line for that truck. Like
We're just
we
going
are,
to keep getting every truck reservation until one is in
yeah.
our driveway.
Yeah. Well, and watch, we're going to be doing this podcast live, reacting to the 4xe announcement, and we'll be the
Okay.
first ones to reserve.
Yeah.
I did remember a point from earlier. We were talking about, you said, don't cancel your reservation depending on how much money you have tied up in it.
Yeah.
Um, so to the average person, you would think it's $100 to reserve a Ford F-150 Lightning. But I don't know if you saw the video where I talked about this. My dealer asked for $1,000 in January as a
Oh, do
good
you already
faith
have that
deposit.
down then?
Yeah, so I have
Oh,
$1,100 tied up in this reservation. Hence why maybe I have a skewed worldview of
yeah.
expectations for when this truck will be in my driveway. Because I've
That's totally, um, I
weird.
guess I missed that somehow, or in one ear out the other. That's crazy that they did that. Anyone else, please answer in the chat. Does anyone else have additional money down? I was told that I would have to at one point, but then they, like, the very next day they said, "Oh, never mind." Philip saying
I saw what Phil
live
said.
streams, I guess, don't have that filter on YouTube.
Yeah,
uh,
and I've had moments where I want to just, charge in there and say, "Give me my $1,000 back." Like there's
yeah,
no
you
reason for you to have this
that
money.
you can do that. I got your back on all day.
Only, and I have the receipt. It's taped to the wall in my office, just so that they won't try to pull one over and say that I didn't do that $1,000 deposit. But yeah, they called it a good faith deposit, which is weird because my understanding is you do have to give them $500 when you place your order.
That makes
Uh,
sense. That's
ri-
fair.
right. And again, in the chat, please chime
I
in
see
if any
Sam
of this
here
lines up.
said 600, so he probably had to put 500 down.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, for
And
some reason they wanted 1,000, and I didn't really ask any questions. But that's also when I thought they were ordering my truck that week. So
yeah,
yeah.
that's wild, man. I hope so, like, you're happy with that dealer though?
Yes and no. I mean, on the
I mean, no
whole,
one's happy with the dealer.
every dealer is relatively clueless. But I don't fault them for that because this is a new process, and
Yeah.
it's nice of them to even participate in this process because literally Ford is not trying to kill off their dealers, but try to move away from a dealer model, specifically with the EVs. So
Hey,
I could see why they're not thrilled with this, but there you go. Perfect timing for that graphic.
right?
So, no, I'm fine with my dealer, but they didn't let me test drive their demo unit, and they took a bunch of extra money from me. Now they said that $1,000 goes towards the price of the truck,
Yeah, for
which
sure.
right. So I'm like, I don't mind giving them that money now because it's going to go towards the truck eventually, anyways. But I've never heard of a dealer asking for more money on just the reservation. Yeah.
No, no, that's pretty wild. And maybe just to give them the benefit of the doubt, and, like, I'm just guessing that they thought you were ordering sooner than you were too. Like, maybe they thought they were going to get more allocations, and now at
Yeah.
this point they're like, well, it doesn't make sense to just give them $1,000 back when, I don't know, they can use it in Facebook ads.
And in truth, I really do. I don't use the word ignorant as an insult. I just think they're very honestly out of the loop, especially in January when they emailed me and said, come in and tell us what build you want.
Mhm.
Um, and he literally used the words like, the builder will be in tomorrow to submit your order. And so when
Man,
he's using words like that, you're like, oh yeah, take my $1,000. Like
yeah, you've been through a lot.
it's been a roller coaster. I mean, you're telling me you've gotten none of that miscommunication from the dealer that you've reserved with?
I don't know if I got miscommunication more than just lack of communication. He emails every once in a while. Like, I was impressed when he said that the demo unit was on the way. He let me know, which was cool. I think I just, like, off the top, like, blasted him with so many emails. He just found me annoying. But
Yeah.
Never really said any, like they've always been clear that they were in the dark. And that's why I've kind of always been, translating my, frustration with Ford themselves. But, you know, everyone's just pointing at each other, Spider-Man meme style. So,
Yeah.
um, whoa. Oh,
Phil in the chat. He said he bought a Lightning. It's in his driveway. So Phil, reply back and tell us about your purchase process and
any complaints
what
or was it
trim
great?
and yeah.
I see
Did
George
your
paid 4,000 above MSRP. See, 4K doesn't bug me that much,
mm-mm.
especially now that we're all paying 7K above.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's not too bad, George. It's not great by any means. Like, obviously,
Mm-mm.
nobody wants to.
Ooh, I got a platinum.
Oh, Philip's out here balling on us. Okay,
Yeah.
Phil. Congrats, man. That's great. I mean, speaking of the platinum, you have a couple beats to hit in the show about things that were taken out, and some things that were added. I see in our show rundown, Joe. If you want to dive into some of that, I see like, oh, maybe you don't have that. Where was I reading that? Something about like the contour seats are out the window.
So maybe this will get the ball rolling with this conversation.
Yeah,
so
please do.
I was reading an article that said the way they achieved the 10 more miles on the standard range battery is they're putting heated seats standard in every trim of the truck, in hopes that people are going to use less air conditioning. And so that way they're going to be able to allocate more power to the motors and the range. And so I didn't know if you had seen anything to confirm that.
No, I've seen our friend OSR Garage reported that.
Mm-hmm.
He's the
Okay.
only source I have for that news, and I couldn't confirm that. I guess that's cool that everyone's getting heated seats now. That's a plus.
Yeah, I mean that's the exact type of luxury feature that I have in my Charger right now, but I was not expecting to have on the Lightning.
Yeah.
I'm scrolling through our Instagram chat now because I thought I sent you a screenshot.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Man, I bug you a lot on Instagram chat.
And Philip said, yeah, the nice seats are going away. The contour seats, I believe, on the Platinum, you can no longer order, like the ones that can, on all Fords, Philip says. Yeah, I knew there was something about that, but it's hard to keep up with all the things. And
yeah. Well, and the other thing that they are adding to the Ford Lightning is, okay, I'm going to try to do an overlay. Everybody beware incoming, is full screen Android Auto.
Yeah, you can. Hey.
There you go. Larry's still on there. Which this was a huge thing for me. I
Yeah.
mean, wireless Android Auto is great, but I don't know. You may not have seen it, but I did a video, Larry. Well, and you've been in the truck, so you know. Android Auto, it was only like 6 inches of the 12-inch screen, and then it would have like Ford stuff.
Screenshots of that, and it's for both Android Auto and CarPlay, right?
Okay, the tweet I saw only mentioned Android Auto.
Or no, sorry, the way that it like segments it in its like own zone of the screen, they did that with both of them, correct?
Correct. Yeah. But this tweet that I saw, and I think Mike Levine liked it or retweeted it or something.
Okay,
but this was in a Power Up software update.
Nice.
So as the viewers can see now, it still doesn't really take up the whole screen. Like I would say that Android Auto in this screenshot, you can see takes up about 10 inches diagonally. Yeah. And I like this a lot better than the previous iteration. You can see you've still got your Ford tabs at the bottom, with the buttons you can make your favorites, and then at the top you've got some Ford info. But I think that's a huge improvement, and one of the things I look forward to the most is like the truck is getting better every day. So yeah, I really like to see that. What are your thoughts? Does this look easier to use?
No, I love this for a couple very small, like nitpicky reasons. So I've mentioned I'm in a, oh my gosh, I'm giant and you're small. What button did I push? There we go. So I'm a new owner of a 2017 F-150, and CarPlay on that is great, but it does take up the full screen. But small little things like weather outside, what time it is, are not showing. So and like the navigation of the actual vehicle, and I miss being able to quickly add those, even though Apple CarPlay does check all those boxes and does a great job. But the actual like small things like the weather, like I found myself looking for it, like it's not on my dash, it's not here, where is it? And then when I unplugged my phone, I was like, oh, it's been there the whole time, it's just hidden under CarPlay. So I don't hate this look that you threw on the screen earlier. I think that's totally fine. I have no complaints with that. The only thing I serve back to you is the CarPlay is new, right? Weren't they not, or sorry, the Android was not going to come out for a second. Is that correct? Or is that another car or truck?
Might be a different car, only because when I test drove the Pro here in Cincinnati, it had Android Auto on there. It had the 6-inch Android Auto, but it was on the truck.
Okay. Never mind then.
But couple things. Another reason we make a great team. You're in the iPhone ecosystem,
True.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
See, and I'm in the Android ecosystem, so this is
Okay.
why we're covering every
It
angle
is a
here.
good thing. Yeah, I totally agree.
Somebody in the chat said, "Can you quickly reiterate the delays for the Pro trim?" Basically, you want to take the lead on that, Larry?
Yeah,
It's
I'll just give you the quick synopsis of that. Is some people who've been able to order, essentially the people who postponed their reservation for 2022 year, they were in this first wave. They were able to make their order for the 2023, and when presented with what trim they want, the Pro models had a disclaimer that said not available until Jesus, not available until fall 2023. So probably about 6 to 8 month wait on those versus the other trims, which will be produced first. Therefore, we're calling it delayed. Take it with a grain of salt, but I would call that a delay because it's not going to be put into a build cycle right away like the other trims are.
Very well said, Larry.
Circling, because I was going to keep rambling if you didn't say anything. So
no, you're good. Philip pointed out in the chat, he said that the Android Auto, though, has not been optimized for the larger 15-inch touchscreen. Which kind of surprises me, only because if you're thinking about the customers you want to make happy, I don't know, you'd think you'd start from the top and trickle down. So, yeah, I just found that interesting. But also optimizing it for a portrait style versus a landscape style. Like I feel like most vehicles right now have the landscape style, so that probably wasn't a lot of legwork to figure out how to optimize that.
On portrait versus landscape? Because I'm leaning back, like Tesla even said, oh, we made a mistake and went back to landscape on their vehicles. Like, they did the first portrait. People started copying them and they're like, oh my God, you're doing portrait still? We've been over that for a couple of years now. So I think it's kind of funny because I think from day one, just like landscape just makes more sense in a vehicle too, because you never want to be looking down
right
when you're driving. So I don't know.
Yeah. I think there's a little bit of bias built in for me, just because I've always been looking at the Pro trim. So I've fully come to terms and fallen in love with that landscape screen. Now, obviously, bigger is better. I'm not going to pretend that I wouldn't want a 15-inch screen.
Yeah, and they did a good job with it. Don't get me wrong. Yeah.
But I think, so having had a reservation for a Bronco, the many trims of the Bronco, the best screen you could get in a Bronco was the 12-inch landscape screen. And so I had kind of been preconditioned of like, that's the top of the line. That's the best. That's plenty for me. And so then seeing that they put that on the base Lightning, I was like, oh, I already know I like that screen. Here's something I'm eager to talk about. And I know you're probably chomping at the bit. I want to get into the Farley Elon beef.
Oh, you do? Okay. I wasn't sure. I have that screen. I'm going to go ahead and share it so we could talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah, man. if you want to set this up, I'll start sharing my screen here.
So this popped up, I think, on like Mike Levine's Twitter or something. Like I saw it totally spontaneously before you had sent it to me. But Jim Farley is standing in the Lightning factory. He's doing another little, not a press conference, a presentation about how they're electrifying. I think it might have been like a pro series thing that they were doing.
Right.
And he's talking about the Lightning, and afterwards he really cheesily tacks on, "Take that, Elon."
Right.
Okay, weird flex. And so let's focus on the Farley side of it first.
Yeah.
I remember when they did, what was the last live stream they did, where they like invited a couple people that had ordered the Lightning and they were there. Do you remember
It was
this?
like the actual reveal. It was the first production day. So they were at the Rogue River facility, and they were launching the Lightning.
Right.
And
That's
yeah,
right,
they
it was the
had,
launch.
and that was fine. Honestly, I thought that was fun. I thought he did a good job there
Yeah.
when they did like the whole, oh, by the way, it could charge your friend's Tesla.
Right.
And I was like,
that was a way more tasteful way to rope them in.
And he should have washed his hands and said, done. And the take that Elon Musk is just, I don't know, so cringy to me. It's like, I don't even know, man.
It's like you're just giving power to that person and that company by showing that he's living rent-free in your head. Like,
Yeah.
isn't there, wouldn't it be a better choice to just pretend they don't exist? Like,
tell me about it.
That's just my take.
You know, the other thing that Farley did, which was cool because it was subtle, is when they included the J17 to Tesla charger in some of the first Lightnings.
Oh.
And that was another kind of wink at the it can charge your friend's Tesla quote. And again, it was funny. It was just being kind of cheeky, I guess. And now they turn around and they're charging $500 for that same charger.
Right.
And then they still are trying to dunk on Elon, who sure has not made the Cybertruck. That's a fair comparison. They did it before him. But no one's in a place to be calling names to each other. Right. There's still things that Tesla kicks Ford's ass in right now.
Yes.
And vice versa, of course. Like Ford could probably produce more, but the tech in Teslas is unrivaled. Their charging systems is unrivaled still. Like it's just a fact. Like you can't go dunking on them because you chose to make a truck before them when they were focusing on actual money-making things like producing Model Ys. And I don't want to sound like a Tesla fanboy because I'm actually not at all, but it's just the way it is. It's just like a true statement, you know?
Even though I'm sure your comment section accuses you of being a Tesla fanboy.
You name it. Whatever I talk about, the other side will complain. So.
Right. Well, I just think... yeah, it's a weird choice. It's a very dangerous game for Ford to be playing because, yes, nobody can take away that they were delivering their electric pickups long before the Cybertruck. No one can take that away from them.
Yeah, great.
But,
good job.
Right. But it's like there's a chance that Tesla, once they start making these, is going to be able to ramp up production faster. And there's a chance that the Cybertruck is going to be a very cool vehicle, which I think we all already know that it has a very high potential to be a cool vehicle, a fun vehicle, a fast vehicle, a practical vehicle, depending on what you're trying to put in that truck bed. And so I just think it's too early for Ford to be poking fun at Tesla because they might come on with a very, like they might come on strong once they start making these.
They very well could. And you know what it is? It's like, I think what happened was Farley like knew it got some good press. Like there was so many, like everyone wrote about that statement. Like it was so good. And I think he just wanted to ride that high again.
Yeah.
And it's so obvious that that's what he wanted to do. And that's the part that like makes me like kind of cringe a little. It's like you are a CEO of like a major automotive company. And that's not, I don't know. I like the guy. I actually do think like he's one of my favorite CEOs out there. Like I like Jim Farley a lot. So I'm saying this as a friend. I don't know you. But hey, next time, don't be awkward.
Well, and you never know what happens behind the scenes. Like, someone handed him the script for what he was going to
Maybe.
say that day.
Mhm.
And then he's reading through it. He goes, "Are we sure about the Elon Musk line?" And they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's going to kill. It's going to kill.
Yeah.
Trust me."
Marketing and PR was like, you have to do it. Trust me.
Right.
It is going to go viral.
Right.
And then he's like, I guess. Maybe.
Yeah. But then
Yeah.
on the flip side, Elon responded to Farley's jab
Right.
by
So,
tweeting that sorry, go ahead, Larry.
no, you say it. You have it.
So he just tweeted and said something like, "Thanks, but I already have one," in
Yeah.
reference to an electric pickup truck.
So no, I think it was, sorry, I could be wrong here, but Ford was talking about they're starting these solar initiatives.
Oh.
And was saying thanks. Musk said thanks. I already have the. Oh yeah, right here. Ford was announcing investment in solar, and then Musk said thanks. I already have one because there's a solar thing going on, and it's like literally like two freaking middle schoolers saying like,
Yeah.
well, my dad already has a solar farm, so
Exactly. Yeah, that changes it a lot. I thought he was talking about a pickup truck.
Right.
But
which would be cringe if he's like, I already have my Cybertruck. I'm good.
exactly. That's why I was like, wow, bad look for Elon. Interesting. I want to pull that up then and reread that. But yeah, not a great look for either of them.
No.
I don't know. I want to find that tweet now. It's bugging me.
Gotta go for it. Yeah, let's see what else is on. Oh, you know what I wanted to talk about real quick? It's actually a video I'm gonna start working on because I'm seeing a lot of comments on, so I want to talk about it. But a lot of people are mentioning like electrifying the Maverick, electrifying the Ranger. Actually, one of my only popular videos this month actually was me talking about like that leaked image of the plug-in Ford Maverick. And what's cool is right after that, there was renders released of Elon talking about a mini Cybertruck. I don't know did you see that at all? I'll pull it up, but I don't know. It had me excited because I think everyone's seeing the value in an EV that is not a full-size electric truck. I certainly do. I have nothing wrong with the full size, but if it means I get more range because it's smaller, I'm going to go smaller because I just need the functionality of a pickup truck. I don't need the full size. I don't need the full size model. Like, do you have any thoughts of that while I pull this image up?
Oh yeah. I mean, gut reaction. The only reason I reserved the F-150 Lightning is because it was affordable. Like if they released a fully electric Ranger and F-150 on the same day, I probably would have, and you said I was only allowed to reserve one, I would have done the Ranger.
Sure.
Living in a city, like I'm right there with you. Smaller is better. A truck bed is nice, but I don't need a full-size truck. I reserved it because it was the only one they were offering, but Tesla Cybertruck Mini.
Yeah.
Ooh,
so
wait, is that supposed to be it on the right?
Yeah. So what's great is it's used on so here's why I think it's worth talking about is because at first you'd be like, it's a stupid render. Who cares? But they talk about using the existing Model Y frame to build it on. And it seems totally doable. I mean, probably still 4 or 5 years out before we even get a leak of it, but it's totally doable, like I said. So I'm going to move down to some of these better images, like right here. Okay, hopping into a sharing. Or do I need to share? Can you
No, it's sharing, yeah.
So you can see my right now?
It doesn't look like Twitter. It looks like you're on Teslarati.
Yeah, let me switch that. Sorry. Bear with us, guys. I'm sorry. Oh no, we lost 10 viewers. That's on me. Okay, so now you can see Twitter, right?
Yeah.
While you're at it, everyone give me a follow at LL Larry Lynch with 2 L's. I tweet once a month, but you'll love it, I promise. So what do you think of this? I'm all about it. I have no complaints with it. Like, totally being honest. Is it ugly? Hell yeah. And that's why I like it.
Yeah, it's staying within that Cybertruck brand of being a very weird design.
Yeah. And I should say, sorry, before I'll let you go again. Totally random person designed this. This is not from Tesla, of course.
Yeah, the curved lines are throwing me off a little bit. It's giving me Hyundai Santa Cruz vibes
It
because
totally is a Hyundai Santa Cruz. You are right.
yeah. But I mean, I'm not gonna pretend like I don't have a reservation for a Tesla right now. But when you think about a smaller pickup truck that comes with the Tesla supercharger network, I mean, it sounds like a pretty good sales pitch. And because I mean, Tesla Cybertruck is supposed to start at 39,000, which means this thing would have to be cheaper. So I think it
Well,
makes should be cheaper. It should
right.
be. Um, yeah, I mean, but it's hideous, so you have to weigh that. Yeah, you have to weigh that as well.
Yeah, you'd have to totally, here's what I do like about it. Really realistic, I think. It's smaller. It can still function as a truck. I think I'd check every box of the truck I have. But I miss my Model Y a lot. But this gives me that like same Model Y feeling, same Tesla feeling. It's not an oversized vehicle. It can blend in, I think, a little more than the Cybertruck can. Um, I love the idea. And I see someone in the comments just mentioned, who is it? Phil, I love it. You're all about the comments today. You're making us look popular. I appreciate it. But yeah, he mentioned the Tacoma size. Was that him?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rivian is like Tacoma size, and I do think that's the home run is them getting a electric Tacoma. That is one of my favorite trucks of all time. I think Tacoma is gorgeous looking. It just looks awesome. It's one of the most reliable trucks like ever made. So I'd love to see that electrified.
But what's always risky about like a pre-existing truck style, model name like the Tacoma, when they electrify it, are they
Right.
gonna leave the same design, or are they gonna try to bring it 50 years into the future and completely ruin like something that isn't broken in the first place?
Well, do you
That's
want to see it?
yeah.
Toyota, this is actually from Toyota, what I'm about to show you. So this is actually what it will look like. There's debates on if they'll call it the Hilux or the Tacoma, but it was part of their release of all of their concept EVs. So
Oh,
I'm gonna
right.
yeah, so you've definitely seen it, but
I
it's this
have.
guy. And I think it rules. This thing rips. Look at that.
See, it elicits more of a Tundra. Like it
A
if you
little
put
bit,
that next to an ice Tundra, that like
maybe.
I think the design language is very similar. I mean, obviously that's going to be smaller if it's their mid-sized truck, but oh
Yeah,
no,
I
I think it
think
looks great.
it's more of the size of a Tacoma, but it does have that new Tundra kind of like flat face, beefy look to it. But yeah, this thing is gorgeous. I mean, I would buy this in a heartbeat. And I
But
lost
see,
it.
then we get into how much are they going to charge for it and how much range is it going to have? Who
You know
cares,
what?
I guess, right?
Yeah, the game we get to play is just I want it, right? We don't have to think about because it's so far out, we don't have to think about if we can afford it. So we can just play the game of would you buy? Like considering
Oh
it's in
yeah.
your like would you buy, right?
That's such a hard question. I mean, yes, I would buy based on the design, but I mean, would I buy an F-150, a Ford Lightning Platinum? Yeah, I would buy one if I could afford it. That's why the price is so intertwined with. But I mean, in a perfect world, if I win the lottery tomorrow, yeah, that's a beautiful truck. I would drive that for sure.
Yeah, and I think it's more of like the size and design combo that I really like about this one. And I see Michael just said the BZ4X wheels are falling off, so I'm not sure about this one. You're right. They did recall, I think, like 350
Mm.
uh, of them because I guess like the wheels were becoming or loosened.
I actually can
Not
speak
great.
to that from a first person. That happened on my CX-3 while I was driving to work, and it was one of the
Really?
scariest things. Well, yeah, I'm dumb. I was trying to put caliper covers on, and one of the wheels I forgot to like tighten up all the way, and my wheel fell off on the way to work.
It actually
Um,
fell off.
it fell off it while like I was hearing weird noises, and I was like, I'm just gonna try to like get to work, and then I'll figure it out. I didn't want to be late to work. And then
Really?
sure enough, the wheel came off on the middle of Ridge Road. and
Wow.
rolled very calmly across the street. Luckily, there was no oncoming traffic, and it just like flopped down like a pancake on the sidewalk.
What did that cost to fix? Because you're landing right on your brake router, right?
Okay, well, what's weird is the tow guy showed up, and he was like, you can drive. He just put my wheel back on properly, and he was like, it's fine. Like, you didn't damage hardly anything other than
So
the
did
body.
you?
The body was more damaged
Yeah,
from hitting the street than any of the wheel components, like the brake or the rotor or anything.
really? So did you stay level or did you?
No, I tilted. It was the
Yeah.
weirdest thing. And then I couldn't get out of the driver. It was the front driver wheel, and so I couldn't open my door. Anyways, I'm a bonehead. That's the moral of that story.
No, it's great. I mean, we only get smarter and stronger through our failures. Something I proudly believe in.
Right.
Um,
Well, and speaking of the BZ4X real quick, have you gotten to see one in person?
you know what? I have not actually.
I saw it at the Detroit Auto Show,
Oh,
or no, the Chicago Auto Show,
I was like,
and
you
it
were in
really,
Detroit? Did give me a holler? Come on.
um, and it really didn't impress me.
Yeah,
It's not like I got
it's
behind the wheel
okay.
or anything, but it's just like a weird futuristic SUV that I have no interest in buying.
Yeah, man. I think it was a pretty. The specs don't seem amazing. I really expected Toyota to come because they were so late to come into the game. I thought they'd come in hitting. They've been the first to electrify. Like I'm all about Toyota. They had the Prius. They have all the plug-in hybrids that are killing it right now. They're great vehicles, and you'd expect their first EV to be a hit, especially for waiting so long. And it just was so. I think my theory is they just put something out to get something out while they're building something actually great. I'm hoping that's the case. That's coming from zero reference points, but I'm just I
Yeah.
don't know, trying to be optimistic here.
Well, speaking of electric SUVs that don't particularly excite me, um, let's compare that to the all-new electric Chevy Blazer. Does that tickle your fancy at all?
Yeah, I don't know. So I'm kind of out on the whole mid-size SUV altogether. I had the Model Y, and my only problem with it was it's just not big enough. I love driving the thing, and I think that's all we're seeing right now. The
Yeah.
EV6, the Ionic, the Model Y, the new Blazer, the Lyric, the Mach-E. That's just off the top of my head. Everyone, yeah, they've proven it. They can build popular mid-size SUVs, but they're all just the same right now. Like the
Yeah.
Blazer looks great. Yeah, awesome. If I was in the market for a mid-size SUV right now, it would be a hard decision because of everything I just listed.
Yeah.
But it's just not doing it for me. But I'm very specific in that reasoning. So,
Yeah.
but otherwise, I think it looks great. Yeah.
Well, and I know I sound like a broken record, but I think all those vehicles you just listed are incredible, and I'd be thrilled to drive almost any of them. But it's all relative. So when you see the starting price for all those vehicles, and they're all inevitably like between 40 and 50, and then
Yep.
you remember that, until a week ago, we were waiting on a $40,000 all-wheel drive electric pickup truck. Like, that was the clear winner. And so now seeing, like, I think that's why I haven't
And then
shown much interest in like the Ionic, which is really cool, by the way.
Mhm. But you just kind of made the point for why Ford was able to raise their prices. I mean, you look at this Blazer, gorgeous looking car, starting at 44,000,
Yeah.
where you could get a Pro pickup, a Pro Lightning, and it's only a little bit more for vehicle.
Right.
I'm just gonna go to the. Are you considering something like this if it came down to it? Is that why you bring it up? I'm curious.
I don't know. I mean, any EV, again, with this new model where you have to reserve it first. Actually, that interior looks similar to the Silverado, which makes sense. But
And the Lyric, like it literally, like if you were like I think I said this on a different live stream, but if you were considering a Lyric and then this Blazer just came out, be hard to go with that like Lyric that starts at the top trim of this, because this looks just like the Lyric, and I guarantee it's like 80% of the same vehicle, and it looks pretty good.
Yeah. Oh my God. Can we talk about how weird the shape of that screen is? Will you go back up to that?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
where are
thing.
they sourcing that screen? It's not a rectangle. It's like,
No. That's a
that's
good
so
point.
weird.
You think it's just dead pixels here, or yeah, who knows?
But like, yeah, the shape of it. Oh, I see what you mean. I don't know. That looks weird.
Yeah.
I do like that fancy little light in the steering wheel. Is that for like what
Is that real?
what is that supposed to tell you?
Always pay attention while driving. Oh, Super Cruise is engaged.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty unique. That is
I-
cool. Good call. I missed
Yeah.
that. I thought that was a graphic they put on the screen. I kind of like that. What a smart way to engage a fifth screen to look at.
Right. Yeah.
Now
More
your steering
lights,
wheel's
more
a screen,
tech,
and you have a heads-up display.
and a digital rear view mirror. Don't forget that.
Exactly. Let's look at these trims real quick, and then we
Yeah.
are just about at time. This flew by.
It
Holy
did.
heck.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to remind myself on these miles. 250 miles for a 44,000 EV, not bad. It's about what you get with the base level Mach-E, right? I think so.
250? Here, I'll go to the website and double check.
Okay. Moving along, it's funny that they have to. Something I've always been kind of puzzled with, like, to me, it seems so expensive for these automakers to do different battery packs in their trims. Like, I get, taking some of the tech out, adding better features like, moonroofs, whatever. That makes sense to change in the trims. But the fact that these have different packs, maybe they consume more or less, but it's hard for me to believe that. I'm seeing probably at least 3 different packs for this trim. That's got to be so expensive to do. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they save money on cells. Do you have any thoughts on that? Like, doesn't it make sense to just have the range be the same across the board and ups with other features?
It's just such a, like, if you're putting weight into features of an
Yeah.
EV, like, people are putting so much stock in the range, and that's going to be a make or break for people. Like, I'm sure some people looked at the Lightning, and then when they saw that 230-mile range, they were like, well, that's a deal breaker. So,
Sure.
but I agree with what you're saying. If they picked a more aggressive range, and then they could have, like you said, get more value out of like the trim or the interior materials or the touchscreen size. Yeah, you're right though. That would have to streamline production.
Right. I don't know. It's just me like scratching my head. So, but even this has the 18.7-inch screen that we saw up here. So it looks like the base version of this probably, it's got some decent features visually. That's pretty great.
Yeah. And this is already open for reservations, right?
Yeah, I think it's game time. This is going to be Chevy's. This is, I think, the reason why we're not getting the Silverado so soon is because of this. They're leaning into this, and then the Equinox 2 is right around the corner.
That's so weird, though. Why would they announce the Silverado that much earlier?
Oh, competition.
Like the turnaround
Marketing,
time.
baby.
Oh, you think they did it just so people would have it in the back of their minds before they take delivery of their Lightning?
It was just a marketing move. Like, it was coming in the heat of the Lightning was peaking, and they're like, well, EV trucks are hot right now. Let's get our announcement out there. That's why GM also just released like a singular image around the same time of the Sierra, which they've never followed up on. Ram EV also hit within the same month. It's just like they were capitalizing marketing wise on that. And that's all. And it's unfortunate that it got people excited, but timeline, look at this. Available the next summer. So it's still a year away.
And that's on that 2LT. What's the starting price for that trim?
It's only like $3,000 more than the 1LT. I don't know who's buying.
Weird.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, but it all circles back to kind of what you touched on. Like, SUVs just do not excite me at all. Especially, they're all starting to kind of look the same with that flowy design. Just
Yeah.
doesn't
They
do it
all
for me.
kind of are just. Whoop.
Well, and especially with EVs, it makes sense that a lot of them are gradually moving to that teardrop shape for like less drag or whatever. But I just hope that doesn't. I hope it doesn't homogenize the design of all these vehicles. Like,
It's happening.
I know, and I hate it. I miss that
I
the
hear ya.
days when you could tell what brand of vehicle was just from the silhouette. You know?
Yeah, man, it's killer. That's I think why they're bugging me. The same old, same old. How are you doing on time, Joe?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm
I thought
great.
of one more thing I want to talk about. If you don't mind going out on one more topic,
Oh yeah.
it's old news. And viewers, I hope you stick around. I think first of all, everyone who's been kicking in, we've had a consistent like 70 people stream this whole time. This is awesome. I'm so happy people came out to this. I did like no advertising. Like I don't know about you. Like I did not let people know other than like a post in the community tab. So a sincere thank you to everyone watching. I sincerely mean it. Like this is such a blast to do. So and Joe for joining me on these. Joe and I are going to be here every Sunday. So anyone who's still here, I hope leave us some constructive feedback. What do you want to see us talk about? Like we're learning here with you. So you're in at the ground floor, and we hope your investment pays off with us.
Yeah. I bet somebody will comment and say that you need to get a different mic stand. I'm just throwing that out there. That's just a guess.
This thing, yeah. I just switched mics. Hey, another thing too. If you're watching, because this is streaming on both Joe's channel and my channel. If you're watching on my channel, go to Joe's channel and subscribe to him because we're trying to get him up to be able to monetize his channel. So that's my goal is to get Joe to 1,000 subscribers. So go help him do that.
Yeah, I really appreciate that shout out. And if you venture over to the channel, feel free to go back in time and watch some of the videos. And I mean, that is the downside, though, isn't it, Larry? To our content is it becomes outdated so quickly.
Yeah,
like my earlier videos have absolutely no bearing on modern day because so much has changed even in the last week.
that's true. But you have some good recent stuff, and I think we on these videos too that'll live on our channels. These will be good to watch in the future because we're just going on the news might get outdated. I don't know, whatever. We're there. It's good videos. Go watch them.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, the last thing I wanted to talk about here is the spark of subscription services in auto. So I don't know how much you've read on this. I know this is a very controversial thing to talk about. News hit with BMW a couple weeks ago. I never made a video about it. I've never got to talk about it. So I love we have this live stream, so I don't have to feel like I missed it. We can talk about it here. So just to refresh everyone, the whole thing is BMW. It wasn't even an EV. It was, I forget what vehicle. But one of their new vehicles, they're charging a subscription service for heated seats. And let's just start there. So basically, every vehicle comes with heated seats in the factory. They're all building it.
They have the hardware for it.
Yeah, just to unlock it, it's a software unlock to be able to use the heated seat. And I thought of this by saying, well, isn't it cheaper to just use the same battery pack in every vehicle? It is, because BMW realized that, and they said we should just do heated seats in all of them and charge people to use them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first instance of this. So we'll start there, and then we'll talk about what this could turn into and your thoughts on it. So I'm going to hand over the mic real quick.
Okay, so I will never forget venting to my friends, my PC gaming friends. I was like, guys, Microsoft Word wants to charge me monthly. I can't just buy Microsoft Word anymore. And they were like, yeah, subscription as a service. That's where everything's going. Get used to it. And I'm like, no, I hate it. I hate not being able to pay a flat fee for a thing. And that's exactly what this is.
Yeah.
So pretty clear where I stand on it. I think it stinks. And it's a risk by BMW because they're like putting all the heated seats in every vehicle, And theoretically, if nobody pays the subscription fee for the heated seats, they just gave everybody free heated seats. You know what I
That they
mean?
can't use. Yeah, that's a good
Right.
point.
So
Uh,
like I'm sure they have number crunchers in the back that said, well, if 30% of the people that buy the car do the subscription, then we will have made back our money and more.
right.
But I hate it. And even with EVs, I could see it becoming very popular just because of
Very.
over-the-air software updates. And I mean, what think about the repercussions of this? What if they do range limits? Like your
Absolutely.
Ford Lightning can get 320 miles of range, but if you want all 320 miles, you've got to pay an extra $30 a month.
Exactly.
It's got very scary implications, and I don't
That's
like
where
it.
it will go. I guarantee it's going to happen. So Joe, I have a confession to make to you. What if I told you, not my current job, but I used to be a sales as a service marketer guy. Like that was my job, is to help software companies sell their company or their service or their software as a service. So I design like pricing pages for people and marketing around that stuff. So my whole existence is to I guess make you mad in a lot of ways.
What if I just shut my laptop and left the stream right now?
I would know why. So I don't do that anymore, but that was my career for a long, long time. So
Well, then you have more insight into this than anybody, probably.
well, it's a business model that the shift is for is MRR, monthly recurring revenue. So you can have a base revenue, but there's nothing better than a guaranteed monthly recurring revenue for your business, because there's also people who will just look at yearly too, but something to think about, at least for startups, is the monthly. So knowing that they've got, let's say, probably at a car company, if they're doing any sort of subscriptions, they have a base, like $1 million coming in a month from their users. Car drivers are not called users because it's software. That's crazy.
Right.
From their, I don't know, clients. So they'd have that base revenue coming in, and then they have sales on top of that. So it's like a no-brainer from a business standpoint to try to do something like this. Consumers are going to hate it. Long story short is I do have a take of why it's not bad. And I want to hear what you think.
I can't wait to hear why you think that. I'm
So
ready.
the BMW, for instance, they were allowing you to buy it in full, I think for like $600 or something like that. So you don't have to do it. You can just buy it for full.
Oh, there's options. You can
Right.
either buy in full or do monthly.
Or do the monthly, which
Hmm.
is, I think, okay, because let's say, Michigan winters are only 3 months of the year. I do the math. I'm only going to do own the vehicle for 3 years, and it's what, $20 a month. If I'm only using the heated seats, 3 months of the year, I might actually, save money with this subscription service.
But
So,
is that
okay,
is that how that works? See, with the monthly
yeah.
installments, I'd be very surprised if they let you turn it on and off every month.
I think that's the way that they advertised it.
Oh, well then it's great.
He's like, oh no, I'm on board now.
Well, okay, but by that logic, if you're going to do the monthly charge for your battery range, like I'll just do 11 months of the year at the standard range, and then the 1 month that I do road trips, I'll pay the extra monthly fee for extra battery. But
Yeah.
my suspicion, my cynical half of my brain is saying, I would imagine they make you do it year round. Like I don't know. That's just my
Maybe.
suspicion.
So maybe like that's a software tactic as well, of like trying to get people to buy the year instead of the month. Like, so they could probably do that. They might for certain services. An example is you can, for Tesla, for instance. Someone just brought this up, which made me remind it.
Hold on,
The
Town and Country just chatted at us. Do you watch Town and Country?
Oh yeah, I've messaged you to try to come on this, and you never answered me. Thanks for
Mitchell
joining us,
Watts.
man.
Thanks,
Yeah.
bud.
I watch your videos all the time, so get a hold of me. We'll get you on here if you're interested. That'd be awesome.
Sorry to interrupt, Larry.
No, yeah, that's awesome. I love those videos. I'm totally thrown off. What was I saying?
Sorry, you were talking about the monthly charge versus paying yearly and why yearly is better. And I totally derailed the podcast. I'm sorry. When I saw
No,
Mitchell's face on the chat, I just got really excited. I got
no, it's
overwhelmed.
fantastic. I think I was just leaning into the fact that there's certain. Oh no, Tesla. Duh. So Tesla was doing the 12K now for the full self-driving, but
Hmm.
also you could buy it monthly. So it was an expensive monthly. I think it was like 250 at the time I owned my Tesla. Um, he says, "Whoops, I didn't see the message. I'll DM you." Okay, cool. It's all good. So, anyways, I think that kind of made sense. Like if you were going on a long road trip or you had sections of your driving patterns where you were driving for more than like I don't know. If you had a month with a lot of trips, you could just buy full self-driving for 1 month or just 1 month to try it out instead of the daunting 12K to add it to your Tesla. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I saw an okay light on that, but that's where we're heading. Like it could go
I guess
bad.
my fear though is being nickeled and dimed, and how does that affect the MSRP of the vehicle? Because it's like if I've got to add up, so my monthly payment on the vehicle, let's say, is $250, but I've got another like 50, 60, 100 in all these. I mean, it never ends where what they could start charging you for monthly, and
That's the
so.
problem.
Or
Yeah.
what if even it's charging speeds? Like your vehicle could charge at 250 kilowatts, but then you can only unlock that, and without the monthly membership, you charge at 100 kilowatts. Like, I don't know. I think it's a slippery slope.
Well, it's bound to happen. And, you know, obviously like the consumers will drive where things will go. So I think there's tasteful ways to do this, but like you said, there's bad ways to do this. Like if you can save a lot off that initial purchase, knowing that you're getting a 300-mile range pack in your Ford F-150 Lightning, but you're saving maybe 5K off the purchase price, knowing that it'll be gated to 200. Like, let's say that was it, because you know you'll never use it. And then you could unlock it temporarily to do longer trips. The only reason I think that works from like a business standpoint is, hey, they get more people in the door because they would get people to buy it because they can get it at a purchase price. Plus, they get to add in that whole model I talked about earlier of monthly recurring revenue or yearly recurring revenue from people buying the prescription or subscription after already purchasing it. So I do think there's tasteful ways to do it. I think I only because I have that background of working with sales as a service companies. I see it working in some ways, but I'm with you. I see the slippery slopes as well.
I see why it's great for the manufacturer. Like I could never argue. Like obviously, it sounds like it. To have recurring income every month. Like yes, that's amazing. But as a consumer, my natural tendency is that I do not like it. But we'll see. Oh, I just hope. Even with the Lightning, I mean, there hasn't been any mention of that, but I get what you mean with the, streamlining production and getting the
Wasn't
vehicles
there
out the door
something with
faster.
Ford Pass? So that's the flip
Oh,
side of
yeah.
it is like them you still buy the car as it is, but then there's bonus features you can get with like an app, let's say. And then they have a whole software company and software marketing to do hey, buy this like I just bought a Ring doorbell, for instance. So like it has a camera. You buy the initial purchase, it works, it creates. But then there's all these features you can get if you buy the Ring like cloud service on top of it. So
Hmm.
I think that's probably more of what we'll start seeing. Something like I don't know the exact details. That was like Ford Pass included like the Wi-Fi connectivity and a couple other things, and you get it for 3 years. But then after that, you're in the $20 a month to use some of those features. There was Toyota or something was going to make you like pay for remote start. Maybe that was Ford too. So like some of those things that were built into the app, you had to do as a service. And who wouldn't just start paying that? I think I would just say, screw it. I guess I'm paying $20 a month now because I got used to these features. Do you have any
Right.
thoughts on that?
Well, it just becomes an avalanche because back when, and you know what? I apologize prematurely because they talked about this on a different podcast, and I want to give them credit because this isn't really my take, but the example they used is Netflix. They're like, back when Netflix came out and it was a monthly subscription, nobody thought twice because it was like one of the only monthly fees they were paying.
Yeah.
I mean, minus like your cell phone provider.
Sure.
But then all these people that were later to the game, you had to, each decision got harder because you're adding it on to an already long list of monthly fees. And so that's exactly what we're running into with this. I'm like, okay, now for my heated seats, I have to add that on top of Netflix and Hulu and this and that and my cell phone and my carpet. It's like, I don't know. Donald, oh my gosh, our chat's getting blown
we got
up.
hacked.
You know, actually, this happens on I would like to think I'm a great admin for your YouTube videos because I report all the like weird comments
Every
on your
upload
page.
I do, like the first, like once it hits like 200 views, I get nude HD XYZ best adult dating app all over my shit.
I guess
Like,
that's when you know that you've made it big as a YouTuber when you start getting hacked. But Donald Weller in the chat, he put it very concisely. He's like, if I buy a car that has heated seats, I own the heated seats and I want to be able to use them. And that may be oversimplistic, but that's exactly how my brain works, Donald. So I am right there with you.
Yeah. No, and I totally get the features part of it. But that's why I wanted to bring up just like the additional app for a little bit, just because I do see it probably more as like them starting to jam more features into like the phone app, for instance, and then gating those features via the app. But who knows? Like you said, slippery slope is the perfect way to define this, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is I don't know about you, but I'm okay to kind of put a pin in it here. We've been going for almost an hour and a half, having a blast though. This is great. And I can't wait to keep doing these.
Yeah. I had no idea that we would go for this long, but this was a heavy week for the Lightning and EVs in general. And so, everybody, I guess, just be sure to tune in every Sunday night around, what did we say? Like 8:30 is a good time.
It works for me. The baby just went down right before that. I had enough time to set up my my stream rig or whatever we want to call this, and we were in business.
Yeah, so thanks to everybody that tuned in and chatted. It was a ton of fun to make this, and I hope you had fun watching. So thanks again.
Yeah. And I promise that we'll do a little bit better every time.
Yeah, we will get better at this.
Yeah. So yeah, another sincere thank you. Recap, go follow Joe if you don't already. And yeah, that's it. And stay tuned.
Yeah. See you guys.